you and I walked the bloody field together in Butler, Pennsylvania, and we saw the left-wing terroristic violence that nearly took the life of the President of the United States and took the life of Corey Compertor. And we said there must be resolve on the right in order to fix this. Otherwise, it will spiral and get worse. And now we have seen, unfortunately, the inability for the right to properly adjudicate and to dismantle left-wing violence. Now it has gotten worse and has stolen the life of our friend Charlie Kirk. I'd like to give you the floor, one, to potentially to eulogize Charlie. I know that you had a very close working relationship with him in Arizona. And then to talk forcefully about what Republicans must do to ensure that this does not continue to happen again and again and again to our generational leaders and presidents.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Benny. And I know Charlie was a dear friend of yours. Last week, like a lot of Americans, I was heartbroken. I remember I was sitting here in my office. I saw it pop up on the news, and I called Tyler Boyer immediately to see if I could get an update on Charlie's condition. And he told me it didn't look good, and he was very choked up about it. And I just remember praying and asking God for a miracle for Charlie, and this guy who not only was led by his faith, but was one of the biggest truth seekers I've ever met in my life. He's definitely one of the most intelligent men that I've ever met in my life. I know you know that. Anybody that's talked to Charlie or listened to him for 5 seconds can quickly deduce that. And one of the things that always just impressed me so much about Charlie, Benny, was the fact that myself and many other conservatives and Republicans had abandoned academia a long time ago. We just thought it was too far gone. It was a lost cause. But Charlie didn't believe that for a second. He had a vision, and he had the courage and the intelligence to go in and debate with these young college students. And I know it started out really rough for him. The crowds weren't big. I know that, he and his crew got assaulted and disrespected all the time. But as you saw him continue to put the work and the sweat equity in and continue to win debates and just do it in a loving way, those crowds started to, really swing his way, and they started to grow. And you started to see Charlie build this movement that many of us thought was not even possible. And so, America obviously lost a treasure. And when I look at, the fallout from this event, obviously you have the death of just an amazing American patriot, but you also have exposure on the left of, so many of these videos of, leftists celebrating his death. And
Yes.
I never thought I'd see that in this country, Benny. I never did. I mean, regardless of, what side it happens on, political violence is never okay, and it should absolutely never be celebrated. But I do want to mention, some of the polling that I've seen come out, and I know you've seen it too, the polling that shows how much greater of a percentage of Democrats and leftists, believe that political violence is okay and that Charlie's murder was justified. It's just shocking, and it's disgusting. And I do believe the origin of it, Benny, probably just like you, is spiritual. I mean, this is 100% evil. This is 100% evil to me. There's so many scriptures that talk about our enemy, the devil, who prowls the earth like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. And he's devoured so many of these young souls and so many of these young kids. And it breaks my heart as a father myself, who I have one that's getting ready to go to college. I have another one that, is getting ready to start high school. And and I know I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of parents out there that are just so beside themselves on, do I even send my kids to school? I mean, it feels like you're playing Russian roulette by sending your kids to these universities that are just filled with Marxist, leftist, communist indoctrination. And, that's something that Charlie fought against, and he gave his life for it. And, for me, that will always make him a hero. And one of the most amazing things that I've seen come out of this is how many young Americans in college and high school have responded and requested to start their own turning point chapter at their college and their high school. And it just shows me that, darkness cannot defeat light. It cannot. We may have setbacks, we may have martyrs, we may lose, some of our best like Charlie, but you cannot, just like with the early church, every effort was taken to try and destroy the early church.
Yes.
And Christians and the apostles and the followers of Christ. But what happened, Benny? It just took off like wildfire.
Yes.
Not only is there truth in the gospel, but when others see that you believe in something so much that you're willing to die for it, and it means more to you than life itself, that has just a magnetic pull that, most things never will. And so I'm grateful to Charlie for his example. It makes me, want to be so much stronger in my own faith and just fighting for truth like he did. But I'm also heartbroken at the same time.
Just very quickly here, Congressman, because I know that we're up against a hard out here. You hold a position of great authority and great respect in Congress. Everybody knows your history as a Navy SEAL, fighting extremism, radicalization, and terrorism. Now that has been domesticated in the left. It has been insulated and incubated by a media ecosystem that dehumanizes us, by dark money left-wing groups that promote and fund this activism, and then, of course, the actual terrorists themselves who go out and commit these violent crimes. What are you going to be doing in Congress to ensure that there's not another Charlie Kirk assassination of this scope on the right again?
Yeah, I mean, we'll do everything that we can, Benny. I don't believe that the solution, honestly, is going to come from Congress. I do believe more of the solutions will come from the administration and just the agencies that they can control. And, like the DOJ, and I've seen some very, very strong messaging put out from the DOJ and the FBI and others that they will be, looking into these radical left-wing groups and, going after anybody who continues to promote violence. I mean, you're seeing this interesting debate take on, right now, whether about free speech, right? And we're all for free speech. I'm all for free speech. The best way if somebody is for free speech is if they support speech that they don't like. Right. But that's not what we're talking about here with a lot of these groups. We're talking about a lot of these groups that are promoting for and calling for political violence. And that is not the same. Right. That is not the same. That's in a category of its own. And so I think you're going to see this administration not only go after those that are calling for these things, but also those that are funding these things. And I think that that's going to be massive. And honestly, Benny, if there's anything that we can do in Congress, whether it's oversight or to support this administration, I'm all about it. I just think that the solution is going to come more from the administration than from Congress.
Congressman, just very quickly, Republicans could take a united stance against Ilhan Omar and kick her off committees for the many of the repulsive things that she said and done, but especially since she giggled and tee-hee-heed over Charlie Kirk's assassination. She did this live on camera, virtually celebrating it. This seems like an obvious choice. Why haven't Republicans done this?
Well, and that's why I led with, I don't think this will come from Congress, Benny. I mean, you don't have to go back more than 5 or 6 months ago when LaMonica MacGyver assaulted an ICE agent. And I was begging the speaker to kick her off her committees. She's still on the Homeland Security Committee, Benny.
Incredible.
Not only is she still on the committee, she's a chairwoman at times, or she's the ranking member at times. And Republicans, we just had a vote to kick LaMonica MacGyver off committees, and enough Republicans broke with our own party and accountability and justice and voted with the Democrats. So she's still on her committees. And that's why I don't think it's going to come from Congress, just because we have so many weak and pathetic members of Congress.
Sick. What about classifying Antifa as a terrorist organization? According to Anna Paulina Luna, that must pass through a judiciary committee. Your thoughts on this?
I'm all about it, in 100% support of it. I wish it would have happened sooner, but I am all about it and will be in 100% support of that.
Okay, and you'll be fighting for Republicans to do that. I mean, again, if you are allowing this terror, you are encouraging and inciting and providing material support to these terrorist networks if you simply just allow them to continue to be funded and allow them to continue to threaten the lives of conservatives. So, you know, if that's what you wish to be known as a Republican, no matter how pathetic or cucked you completely are, if that's what you wish to be known as, then know that we will label you as that. And you will have absolutely no future. You will not be able to fill a coffee shop, and you will have no fundraising. We will come and we will ensure that you have no future in the Republican Party. If you do not vote to make Antifa a terrorist organization, if you do not vote to have Ilhan Omar stripped of her committees and properly punished for what she did to giggle in the face of Charlie Kirk's political assassination, then there will be consequences. We will understand what this means. This means that you want to be part of the Democrat Party. That means that you want to unite with them. So we'll go ahead and make sure that happens. That's your only pathway. And so please enjoy the rest of your life with David Hogg and Harry Sisson. All right. Thank you, Congressman. Sorry about that little rant at the end there. Blood pressure is hot right now. And we're going to make sure that in honor of Charlie's memory that we unite Republicans to be strong and not weak. That was what Charlie was all constantly wanting to do.
Yep.
Here's the Congressman's social media. Please follow Eli Crane. Hundreds of thousands of Americans already do. Make sure that we're fighting with the people who fight for us. Godspeed, Congressman.
Thank you, brother.